This is Karl talking management for the Globe and Mail. Today I'm delighted to speak to a professor from the Harvard Business School, Chris Marquis. So Chris, you've been very interesting look at organizations as they become more environmentally aware, but in the context of China, what are some of your key findings?
One refers to and looks at the extent to which the government is influencing the firm. So, the Chinese government actually has really increasingly been focusing on environmental issues in the 11th five-year plan and the 12th five-year plan, which we're currently in the middle of. A lot of initiatives spurring environmental behavior on the part of corporations. Also, really trying to encourage environmental entrepreneurship, growth of new industries, et cetera. So I think that one of the key things is the way that actually the government is encouraging companies to be more environmentally friendly. The thing is, though, that there's all kinds of environmental damage. Many examples of things like the air apocalypse, where in Beijing in January this past year there was tremendous air pollution. So China still has very far to go in sort of defeating the legacy of growth at all costs, but there are a lot of indications that the government is really focused on it now.
Is there a lesson for governments in Europe or the US or Canada from what China's done? Is there something we should take away from what they've done?
Being able to focus attention on certain issues is tremendously important. So, I think that that's the way that China has developed over the past 30 years economically, by the government really being able to focus on specific issues. And given, that they've identified and are focusing on a bunch of very important issues in the environmental realm, the proof is still, the proof's in the pudding, so to speak, and we still have not actually, seen the, reversing of a lot of the environmental damage. But I think that from the past and the current focus on the environment, the lesson is really focusing corporate attention, governmental attention, the attention of the people on specific issues is very important.
In China, you have the state-owned enterprises, a tremendously important part of the economy. We don't have that in the US typically. So is it something where it's almost unique what China can do and we really can't do this back home?
Certainly, in the past, being able to funnel resources through the banks, through government policy to the SOEs, who are then able to economically grow, is certainly a key reason why China has advanced so quickly over the past 30 years. However, over the past 30 years, as these companies have grown, they've also developed their own sort of interest bases, power themselves, and in many ways, are pushing back on the government on some of these, sort of key environmental initiatives. And I think, as the government is able to, focus, attention on this, the extent to which they're able to, sort of bring the SOEs around is very important. Secondly, however, I think that, and this is one area where things may apply more broadly, more to the United States, to other governments, is sort of funneling investment and focusing attention on certain industries, certain growth industries. So, in the 12th five-year plan, they've outlined a number of different, sort of 7 important growth industries. Most of these actually have some, green or environmental component, and, sort of, preferential, credit policy for banks, preferential investment, matching investment. It's something that all governments can do, whether they have SOEs or not.